Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are in the world. You're here on the Radio Works World platform with your host, Sabrina Ben Salmi, on the Dream Big Show. I'm here today with my special guest, Joel van der Molen. Hopefully I've done some justice with the name. Joel is a serial entrepreneur, actor, and speaker. He grew up in South East London. He attended one of London's most prestigious drama schools before following an entrepreneurial career that led him to create Vandercom into a successful telecommunications and IT company. Joel's mission is to use his creative ability to move people into action through making inspiring films and documentaries that are emotionally engaging, mind illuminating, and heart awakening. Today, he will be talking to us about his new documentary called Living My Illusion, created to help people ask questions about their own reality and not be afraid to honor their truth. I think that was such a lovely introduction, and I've only read half of it. It's beautiful, and I love the fact of, living my illusion. How many of us are living an illusion or walking around with a facade? Tell me more about yourself, and tell the listeners more importantly, Joe.
Well, that was an amazing introduction. Do you know what, Sabrina? Every time I meet someone from now on, I'm going to have to bring you on and say, and then, I don't have to just like, there we go, Sabrina, you talk about me. And then I just like, there we go, that's wow. But yeah, I mean, that's what I realized that what we are creating, what I was creating. I mean, I had a very, a good life. I came from middle-class upbringing. I grew up in Southeast England, and my parents were, successful. I had everything that I truly wanted. I was given everything that I wanted, and I was, told I was special and I can do anything I want. And it's not until you sort of know within inside you, and I remember from a young age, just knowing that, something's not quite right, but I never knew how to express it. And it took me to get to the stage where, of meeting, of course, Tony J. Salmi, where I was truly able to look back and honor my truth, as it were. And that's what I realized, that, there's a lot of not speaking of the truth going on in my world.
Yes. About
everything that I was doing. And what I was realizing is that, most people that are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their life is a mimicry, and their passions a quotation. And we sort of live in this world, growing up in this world, pretending to be someone who we think we should be like.
Wow.
And then our friends and people we associate are people we like or want to be liked by, because we think, oh, they're great. And this is what I just saw within myself, and certainly looking back on my life, when I was younger, growing up. Not when I was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. Then I was fine, and we are. We're all free when we're that age. We don't care what anyone thinks about us. We're not worried about what our ex-boyfriends and girlfriends are doing on Facebook. We're not worried about what parties we haven't been invited to, or we're not comparing ourselves to that model or that actor. We're living in the moment. We're being our wonderful self without care of what anyone else thinks about us. And I've got a 3-year-old daughter, and she does exactly that. She's like, Daddy, I'm a ballerina. And, she's watching ballet videos, and she's dancing around without care of what anyone has to say, what anybody is thinking about her whatsoever. And I'm observing this, and I'm learning. And I think that we sort of forget that somewhere along the way. And I think it's maybe around the age of about 7, where we realize that, okay, life doesn't have 30-second and 60-second solutions like the advertisements do, where you're told, oh, get this toy and then you'll be the most popular kid in school. Dress like this, and everybody will want to come and play at your house. And that's not true. They come and play at your house because your mum is the best cook. That's why.
Yes. See, there's a secret for you. I love what you said about that childlike curiosity and presence. I love that, because it wasn't the case of, Daddy, can I be a ballerina, or how to be. I'm a ballerina, and she just steps into it, and we forget that as we're growing up. You're quite right. But, you know, Joe, tell us a bit about the journey, in a sense that I know you met Tony Salimi, but what got you to that spot? Because different leaders show up, you know, they say when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. What made you ready before Tony showed up?
So I created the ultimate illusion. I created what everybody said. This is, you know, because we're told from a very young age to go in search of the dreams that we're told to go in search of. You know, you buy the house, you buy the car, you get a job, you have kids, you get a dog, you get a cat. I've got a cat. She's here somewhere.
I got it too.
And I'm gonna come up, you know, jump up and go like, "Now." Did you mention me? And you know, when you achieve all of these things, and you look at a lot of people who do achieve some sort of level of success, and anybody looking in through the window will believe, wow, you've got it all. You've created what society tells you to have. But what's really going on inside of you is something completely different. And in 2013, I started to see the world differently. And I realized that, you know, what is all this charade? Why do I feel better in places where I'm not surrounded by consumerism, where I'm programmed to buy things? And I just started to make certain changes in my life. And I wanted to grow my business, Vandercom, the technology company, where we're helping people with, helping businesses to become more flexible, you know, the small business owners utilizing new technologies. And so I looked to the network marketing industry, and I thought, okay, I'll grow a network marketing part of that. And of course, in that industry comes, it's sort of a business opportunity disguised as a personal development program, disguised as a business opportunity, because what you start learning about you and developing about you and realizing how you can remove the blocks, that I found very inspiring. And I learned a lot about me, everything I was doing which was really for other people. I was learning more and more about me. And growing my own business, my dad, he bought me, I always mention him in whenever I do in interviews. And I said to him today outside, I said, you know, I'm going to mention you again. He's like, don't mention me. You know, why do I don't want people to know me? And then I said, well, he bought me this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 2007 by Robert Kiyosaki. It's the #1 financial book of all time, #1 selling book of all time. And it's a great place to start if you want to escape the rat race. Yes. And you know, and then I went to a seminar of his, and I paid the top ticket price. I paid like £3,500 to sit in the front row to learn from him and to meet other like-minded people within the diamond circle. One thing he said, which moved me into action, was you've got to have that coach. You've got to have that person who can help reflect, point out your blind spots. Now, we know when we're driving a car, the windscreen is very big and we can see out front. But imagine driving a car with no rear view mirror and no wing mirrors.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, I'm taking you back to 1930 when there was no speed limits either and you could just do anything you wanted. But that's the kind of thing. When I grew up, I had a tennis coach to improve my game. When I went to drama school, I had voice coaches, movement coaches, acting coaches. But there's nothing that prepares us for life. And when we come out of schools and university, we go into this world and we realize, oh, okay, mum can't get us that promotion. And, you know, dad can't make me the managing director of my own company. And relationships take work. Swipe left, swipe right. So, you know, this is what led me at the right time. Now, you know, there's kind of different forces involved and I did do a talk about meeting Tony, because I met him at Inspired Stage in Mayfair, and there he was on stage giving this inspirational talk, and I could hear the voice within me say, this man is going to be your coach. Wow. I just heard that, and I was just like, you know, well, you know, I just didn't think of it. But looking back, you join the dots, and so that's how I got up to that point. And I bought the book, A Path to Wisdom, and I thought, first of all, you know, I'm buying another book. It's 320 pages. And I'm thinking, oh my God. You know, I read so many books. I read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this book Out of what I've read, this encompasses everything. And it was just another level. It was a new inspiration. It was taking everything that I read from all of these other wonderful works, adding in the spirituality, adding in his life story and the mentors that he had worked with, and bringing everything together, as well as client stories. Truly remarkable. And I just couldn't believe what I was reading. I mean, it was every single paragraph and word. It was just like electricity going through my body. And I hadn't really, I had these aha moments, but this is just like, my whole body was like, wow, who is this guy? That he's writing what I would write, but he's done it all for me, so I don't have to do the work. I was like, wow. And, so, I obviously read the whole thing, and I've got proof of that because I recorded the audiobook. So, and because I was that inspired by it, and it sort of set me on a journey. And I remember when I met Tony, and I just hugged him and I said, do you know what this is? Do you know how amazing what this is? And it went from there. We had like an 8-hour meeting at the Savoy Hotel, which I remember clearly. And talking about various different things and what I was doing, and then I just had my first consultation with him. And the thing is with Tony, you don't know who you're dealing with. I remember one of his recent clients saying that you don't know who you're dealing with. And what we all love, I believe, is finding out more about us. Because it's only when we do that, then we can see other people. Tony's called the see-through coach. That's how he's internationally known, because he can see through the illusion that I'm creating. He can see what no one else can see. And working with him for 2 years now, I begin to see it in other people, where we outwardly project what's going on within us. So he could pick up everything that was truly going on within me, and helped me to address all the fears, all of the thoughts, all of the intimate thoughts, the emotions, everything that I was thinking and why I was thinking this, and helped me get to the root cause, to unravel who I truly am. And that's something that I've always been someone to take those kind of risks and jump into things when I believe it's right, when I know instinctively that it's right. Yes. And I didn't really truly know what life coaching was all about. You hear things, and certainly in the circles I mix in, and you mentioned that, you've got a life coach, or people will go, why? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. When they think it's going wrong.
People would associate it with not somebody who's got the perceived perfect life that society says, okay, that's what we have. But inside of me, there was a nagging feeling, and something that always knew. And I think every single person has this. I'm convinced that there's a genius that lives in every single one of us. And that is a voice that is whispering to us on a daily basis. And if you don't listen to it, then it starts to get really, that was probably it just then. It starts to get really loud. And if you can, and then this is why, probably there was people drink to quieten down that noise, or there's addictions that go on. And addictions can take many forms, not just the alcohol, the drugs, but going to the gym is a way of, silencing that inner noise out. What's happening outside of us is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. So I'm learning certain mastery from Tony, because it's all about us. The more we learn about us, the more we learn about why things are happening outside of us, and we can begin to take steps, maybe small at first, to change and create the life that we want. And when you realize you can do anything, it can really motivate you to understand, okay, yeah, let's get going. Let's live and create what I truly love, and by listening to that inner voice.
Yes. If for the purpose of listeners, Joel, what would you say to someone that perhaps has never had a coach before, or a mentor, and how? Because obviously some people don't, like you said, they think, oh, I don't have a problem, so I don't need a coach. Is that they're waiting to fall down the manhole, so to speak. But the importance of having one to navigate us down those roads, to say, actually, there's a pitfall here. You don't have to go and do the same thing I've done. I've learned already.
Well, for me, imagine, you know, you're in a new country and you're trying to find you've landed at the airport, and you've got your rental car, and you've got to find the hotel, but you're not given a map or a satellite navigation system. You just have nothing. You are left up to your own devices to work everything out and find it and learn the language, and get to where you have to get without knowing the language, without knowing anything. That is a reflection of people in their life with nothing, you know, and they're going through it. Now, why wouldn't you invest in the greatest asset, which is you? Because it's a lot easier to have the navigation system to find where you've got to go. So a coach isn't pointing you in the right direction. They're helping you access your own internal navigation system. That was really clever. I just realized what I just said.
I really like that.
Wow.
I really like that.
I didn't plan that. I wasn't up all last night thinking, you know, if Sabrina asked that question, I'm going to say that.
I really like that. I think that's a perfect example. It's very true. You can go about it your own way. No one's saying you won't get there, but why go through that arduous task by yourself and having to learn it all again when someone can just leave?
But I mean, I've worked with the best, and I'm working with the world's top. You know, and that's very different. I can't speak for all the coaches out there. I'm sure there's many great people, and it's going to have to be somebody that truly resonates with you, and someone that you can trust, someone who can hold the space. I was truly inspired by the works of Tony on a different level, because even though I employed him first as a business coach to help me go from $1 million a year to $1 million a month in business, in my technology business, what I found out and discovered is that, okay, there's so much more to me, because when Tony goes into a business situation and he coaches CEOs of Microsoft, EY, as well as, you know, many, you know, big businesses, then he looks at the people who are running the business, because even though they are the creators of the business, they're also the destroyers. What's going on with them? What are the blocks? Because the blocks are within us, but also the answers are as well. And a great coach, their job is to help you connect to your truth, so you can see the patterns that keep repeating, because we were remaining stagnant. And I was like, okay, I knew that. And I was like, okay, what is it? What is going on? Why do people remain in the same place in business? And I look at this from my point of view, whereas I love helping people to become more flexible. You know, where you've got a husband and wife team and they're working in their own business, and they want to have time off to spend it with the kids, but they've also got to have connection with the office. So I love doing that to help them in that way. But Tony does a similar sort of thing, where he helps people to remove the blocks that keep them at one level, to get to where they truly want to be at. But little did I know what it would open up, and take me into a whole world of production, bringing his works to inspire many hundreds of millions globally. And that's just an astronomical vision, which of course we know that Tony's vision is to inspire the minds and awaken the hearts of 1 billion. And I've realized that, you know, I love being a part of that. That's connecting to my truth.
Beautiful.
If we all ask our question, the question looking back, who we wanted to be when we were 5 years old, we probably had a dream. And apart from the dream of being, you know, okay, a firefighter, a farmer. I remember I wanted to be a farmer at one point, but I wanted to be so many different things when I was younger. And I think that many people do. And then I was like, how can I do everything? Mm-hmm. And, you know, my mum, I remember she wanted me to be a doctor. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go to drama school, and maybe I can get a part as a doctor on A&E, and then she could see me every day, you know, playing a doctor. But I wanted to play so many different roles, and I thought, what job gets to do that?
Yeah.
So I wanted to be an actor all my life.
Oh, I like that. I really like that. So let's talk about your movie. This film, it's premiering very soon. Thank you for the invitation. Really appreciate that. But let's expand on that. Tell the listeners about what this is, or the bits that you can, because they need to come and see it.
Well, Living My Illusion, I don't know if you can see in the background, but there it says, I built myself a prison It may have gold bars, feel comfortable, familiar and safe, but I have to get out. So that's the illusion that we create.
Could you read that again, please? I just want the listeners to hear that. I like that.
The quote on the back there is, I've built myself a prison. It may have gold bars, be comfortable, familiar, and safe, but I have to get out.
Wow.
So that really is what the illusion is that I created everything around me, and we all create things and we all accumulate possessions and we may do amazing things, but the way I can, joining the dots, the way I look back, is all I was creating was liabilities. I was creating things, not really assets. I was creating liabilities that were tying me down, and it was about listening to others instead of listening to the voice inside that knew. Because if I was, if I was to listen to that 5-year-old boy, that inner child of Joel, then I would be an actor. I'd be performing. But because I was influenced, and rightly or wrongly, by other people, and outwardly living other people's values and expectations, whether that be parents, society, culture, religion, and even though my parents were very, very supportive of everything I wanted to do, still subconsciously they have an agenda. That my dad's gonna like me again. Parents impose their values and ideals on their children, and not not because they don't like their children or anything. They want the best. They want the very best. But they come through the same system. So they've got created ideas and beliefs, and they inject these ideas and beliefs into the children, and that's where I pick it up. So we end up coming into this world carrying 2 bags of rubbish.
Yes.
And then we go through school and society, so we end up putting on this big backpack. So by the time we leave school, we're weighed down completely by the pressures of society, by the pressures of having to conform, instead of just going and that releasing those baggages, you can just go, oh my God, wow. And this is what it was like having coaching sessions with Tony, where I was able to speak my truth to someone for probably the first time in my life. And I don't believe people actually have that anymore. And maybe for men who suppress what they truly feel and are afraid to speak out and talk about things that are affecting them, because that's not macho, and you've got to be macho and impress women and all this. So that creates a kind of fear of expressing our truth. So when Tony was helping me to open up and truly speak about anything that I wanted, and can you imagine having someone that you can trust, who you can do that with? I was totally inspired to just say, right, let's bring the cameras in, because the monumental transformations that I was going through, I thought, if I'm going through these pains, if I'm going through these thoughts, if I'm stuck in life and I've got no one to guide me, then there are millions, hundreds of millions, if not billions of people going through the same feelings, the same thoughts, the same emotions, having the same problems. Every single one of us has problems. Then I want to shine a light and, be that example for better or worse, to help people just see that, they're not alone, that they can honor who they truly are. They can get access to what I have access to. Yes. I was truly inspired by everything that he does. Every single time I meet him, I'm truly inspired. And even when he's challenging me to my core, and I'm thinking, what? I thought I was amazing. My mum said I was amazing. Why are you telling me I'm not? He's just like, I'm refining you. And this is why I thought, wow, let's bring the cameras in and go for this. And so not only was I inspired to speak my truth with Tony, but I turned the cameras on myself and thought, okay, let's speak the truth to the world.
So these are your actual coaching sessions with Tony, and the cameras are peeking in on that.
Yeah, it's absolutely raw, going through what I was going through at the time. And this is why we're making a series of it, because it is ongoing. It's the ongoing transformations, and the first episode is called "The Truth Hurts," because addressing these kind of issues, addressing your fears, addressing what's true to you, hurts others, and it hurts the people you love, and those people closest to me who you don't want to hurt. You don't. But this also made me realize that I'm lying to people, I'm lying to the ones I love, and I'm lying to myself. And the truth does hurt, but at the same time it sets you free. Because if you ever been holding something back, but when you immediately are able to say it and express it, there's sort of like this relief. And when we keep things bottled up, that manifests itself into a form of an illness and expresses itself, and our body has an amazing way of communicating to us when something's not right. If we need to go to the toilet, we go. Our body is telling us, and we listen to that.
Yes.
But if our body is telling us to get on track to our life purpose, and warning us that we're going off course, it will present itself in the form of an illness. And so the natural thing that we are then programmed to do is take medication, suppress it.
Yes, instead of dealing with the root cause. You're quite right.
Yeah, for all the wonders that medicine does, the marvels that we have in the modern world, it's not accessing the root cause, and that's what it's about with Tony. So not only am I going through this, it's being a lesson, an inspiration to others. And there's people who won't like me for doing that, but then you're always going to get support and challenge in equal measures. I just accept that, because I could easily shy away from it and just say, you know what? No. But then what's that? That's not honoring who I am either. And for all the fears that we have, that also is the motivation. It's about accessing everything that is in us to create this. So I was just truly inspired. I don't go and buy fast cars and which I see a lot of people, or big cinema screens, which I see friends do, or other people do. They've got Porsches, they've got Bentleys. They say to me, guess how much this cinema screen in my house cost me? And I was like, well, how much? It goes, £1,000. Can you believe it? It's an 80-inch screen. It's got surround sound and everything. And I'm like, well, that's not what it truly cost you. What it costs you, knowing your capabilities, is £200,000 a year, because you spend an average of 4 hours a day sitting in front of it. Sure. That's what it truly costs you. There's one thing is the price of it. The next thing is the cost.
That's exactly.
And according to the the TV license in the UK, we spend 4 hours a day watching TV, 1 hour more than we believe we're watching, according to statistics. And that does not include the amount of time we spend watching
screen time on the phones and everything
mobiles
else.
and tablets.
Yes, exactly. Joel, how can listeners get in touch with you and follow your journey? Perhaps websites, Facebook pages. Do you have any?
Yeah, well, the best place to go to at the moment is livingmyillusion.com. And we've got 2 screenings coming up for press and industry, and also an invited audience. One in Los Angeles, which is on the 30th of June at 8 p.m. And then the other 2, which are in London on the 12th of July in Soho, which is at 5:30 and 7 o'clock, where we're also inviting questions afterwards as well, with Tony, Timia, myself, and the director and producer. So yeah, I mean, people can get in contact that way. I'm also on Facebook. My technology website is Living My Illusion. No, that's Vandercom is. But there's also that company where if we to help in business and things like that. Vandercom.co.uk, and Facebook, Twitter, I'm on, and Instagram I'm liking at the moment.
Oh, nice! And that's all the same handle. Living My Illusion across all platforms.
Yeah, or at Joel VDM.
Okay.
Yeah.
At Joel VDM on Twitter, yes?
On Twitter, yeah. At Joel A VDM on Instagram, and Facebook, Joel Vandermolen.
Excellent.
So yeah, people can follow the journey there, and also follow Tony Salmi, TonySalimi.com, and on Facebook as well.
Brilliant. And with regards to your dream, I love you're saying this is going to be a series. what's the big vision? Where is this headed? Could you paint that picture for myself and for the listeners so we can listen on how you desire to add value to the world and how perhaps they can also help you to make this possible?
I just went ahead and did things without the fear of what other people think of me. I think Oprah Winfrey, she did an interview with a lot of women over 70, and commonly she heard the same thing. If they could look back on that 20-something girl, that 30-something, that 40-something, that 50-something, they all commonly said, go for it, because everything's going to be okay. And in every single moment you're looked after. This is something Tony taught me, that, you know, whenever you have these kind of worries about what may happen in the future, you know, you're not being in the moment. And it's about trusting you, because we may have these fears, but the other side of fear is trusting that you can do it, and just going for it, because, you know, you can fail at doing what you don't love. You can be made redundant from a job. You can fail at doing what you don't love. So why not take a chance on doing what you love? And that's what I do. And I just think, okay, so if I'm protected and I can do anything, what is it I truly want to do? I want to be an inspiration. I want to create, you know, works that are of an inspiration to others, to help them go through the same journey, start that journey. And that may start with a book. It may start with a path to wisdom, like it, you know, or anything that it may be for you, to start realizing your capabilities and going in search of what you truly love. And you'll know, because you'll jump over any hurdle to do it when you are living, you know, your highest values. And that's what it was for me. I discovered that. I discovered doing what I love is creating works in film, in TV, speaking to you now. This is living what I love. I couldn't say that I would be speaking to you about a documentary series I'm launching now 2 years ago. But I went and I just did it.
Well done.
And that's what that's my message for everyone. You know, you can make it. You have two choices to make when you look at something, either out of love or fear. Choose love.
And I just want to commend you. You know, to have a camera peep into a coaching session or a mentoring session. I know what that's like, but to have a camera there, that takes such courage, because you are, you know, peeling away at your, going to very deep levels, but you're allowing someone to observe that. And I can't imagine the results that's going to come just by someone watching that. It's just going to be, you know, possibilities are endless. And especially you touching on men, I agree with you. I've been having a lot of conversations of late, is that men are taught that they have to suppress. It's not macho to express. You don't have emotions. You know, that emotions are not manly. And I think you're quite right by just saying, you know what, enough of that. I'm not going to think about you. I need to do me. And it's important that I get to sleep at night rather than worrying about you. So I think that's so, I'm really looking forward to seeing the documentary, to be honest. I'm interested to see and ask some questions at the end. But who or what or organizations would you like to connect with in order for you to help this dream become a reality? Well, you actually live in the dream, I get that. But I'm just thinking, what other connections would you like to have that could perhaps come on the back of this interview?
What I'm doing at the moment is every single night I'm on the phone to many production companies, press, distribution companies in Los Angeles, and now we're starting with London as well, because we're looking for the best partner to take this to hundreds of millions of people. Every day I speak to someone, I inspire with the story. Now, if that's the case, this is something that we know is very timely. Documentaries that are authentic, that are telling the truth and guiding people in a way that is helping them, that are an educational tool, are the thing right now. This is what I believe that our people are looking for. Certainly, there's people that I'm speaking to and connecting with. The right to come in at this stage to help us take this mainstream. They're the ones who are going to be at the screenings. They're the ones who are going to be talking to us first, and then the world can see it on the likes of Netflix, on Amazon, on Hulu, on Showtime, and you know, BBC, ITV in this country as well. All the major channels, to help more people to be inspired and live life on their terms. For once, I mean, it's very interesting how we're living in a world that is like a cocoon, and it's about breaking that cocoon. I go around on the tube in London, and if you start speaking to someone, they're like, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you speaking to me? I'm on my phone. I'm really on my phone, even though I've got no signal. I'm pretending. I'm playing a game, and you know, there's lack of connection, and it's the same when we meet anybody and we talk. We don't speak from an authentic place. We say, oh, hi, how are you? So there's weather outside today. What, do you like weather? And we're having these kind of conversations that, you know, are not truly who we are. So we're wearing masks every day. We're wearing a mask at work. We're wearing a mask with our family, then with society, instead of being us truly for any time. And the one person I see doing that, living that on a daily basis is Tony. He's just the same wherever he is, even if when there's something really exciting happens and I get really excited and jump up and down, he's just...
I do that. I'm like that.
But, you know, there is, you know, it's about balance and understanding that there's pain and pleasure in equal measure. The quote from A Path to Wisdom, love is pain and pleasure in equal measure. And it's the same with creating this great work. Yes, that there's a lot of pain that I have gone through. It's not been easy. It's probably been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But the happiness that I achieve by inspiring others, that's worth it.
Wow. So, Joe, for the purpose of a listener that's maybe sat there going through perhaps a crossroad in their life where they've been carrying this, you know, maybe the last 30 years, so to speak, that illusion, that facade, that mask that they're finding hard to really let go. What would you say to them? What message would you give them, just to get, you know, obviously you've taken leaps and bounds and you've always been open to coaching, but someone that's never done anything, what would you say is the first step they need to do or identify with?
To embrace that feeling that they're going through, to love that feeling that they're going through, because every adversity has a hidden blessing, and it may be very difficult to see that at the time, but sometimes through the most difficult times comes a revelation, comes a seed of an equivalent advantage. Through every adversity comes a seed planted of equivalent advantage. Now, we may not be able to see that in the moment, but loving everything about what is happening to you, because that sounds strange, but if you can do that, it's like this works, right? If you have a headache, yeah, send love, and I guarantee you it disappears. Try it. Try it. But it works with anything. If you've got an ache in your body, just acknowledge it and love it, because the reason that the pain is there is because of our resistance to the pain. It's because we are resisting something. So, you know, when you acknowledge something and love that, well, it's like darkness within light. You know, it becomes illuminated. And so when you do love that, you'll find that the pain disperses, because it's got nothing to cling on to. What it's clinging on to is your resistance. So love that feeling, and it's just a sign. I spoke earlier about, you know, how our body is communicating to us and giving us some signs of what to do, and that is a great sign that to start your journey, to pick up the book, to watch, to connect with me, or to connect with Living My Illusion. There's a reason that your viewers are watching this. Because there's something inside that is saying, I'm more. I can do more, I can be more, I'm better. And I know, because I self-actualize that question that you say, and we all do that. We all living from that place of in to out. And that's what I did, and that's what I constantly do, and do through the whole series of Living My Illusion, to be that mirror for someone else, to inspire them to make a start. Because the next 2 years can be completely different from the last 2 years, and it doesn't matter what age you are. You know, there was a guy who was 66, and he had failure after failure after failure, and at 66 he just did not give up, because he knew he had the best chicken recipe on the planet. So he went round from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. Do you want to buy some chicken? No. Do you want to buy some chicken? No. Tastes really good. I don't care. I've got my own chicken recipe. And that was Colonel Sanders. But he spent the next 4 years, from the age of 66, building a franchise that became KFC. Doesn't matter what age you are, you know, we can achieve anything, and it might just be the calling that you're feeling right now that is saying, okay, that's it. And it's not having what was difficult for me was overcoming the fear of what other people think of me.
I think that's the hardest bit, of course, because we're so used to that. It's within our comfort zone, so to speak. But who needs to see this? Who needs to be there to see this movie? Who's your target audience?
Well, there's something that's referred to as the millennial generation, and I certainly think that, you know, speaking with one of them, I think I'm probably the oldest millennial. But you know, and knowing that, you know, that the upbringing that I've had, and the, you know, people coming through nowadays, it will help them, inspire them to really. That could be the missing piece. We're always going to see something, or always going to hear something by someone inspirational on stage, or, you know, it may be watching something, it may be reading a book, but it's going to be something that clicks. I think anybody, as I mentioned before, certainly from the age of 16 to 66, or even beyond, you know, we're living to 100 now. There is no reason you cannot transform and go in search of your dreams at the age of 80.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, you know, you know, I can see this happening in people globally. I do believe that it's the most exciting time to be alive, because globally there is an awakening happening where people are realizing that, okay, you know, yeah, life is hard and life is amazing, but I can be who I truly want to be. We can do anything, and I believe people are waking up and seeing what's really happening behind the scenes, and able to direct their own life without the fear of what other people think of them. That was massive. It was a massive thing for me, and it's still now. You know, even when I didn't rehearse for this, you know, I mean, I could have been up all night worrying about what I'm going to say, and people learn stage fright. They learn stage fright because you don't have stage fright when you're younger.
Exactly. You know? Tell me about it. I've got one of those. He does anything, anywhere, anytime, and I'm going, please don't do that.
Yeah, because, you know, they don't really care what other people think, and you know, children are a reflection of us. They do what we are not acknowledging within us. I
love the example you give, like that childlike curiosity, that childlike play, and just beingness, the presence. And I think if listeners can reconnect with their inner child, so to speak, that I think that's where the magic really happens. I like that. Just not caring, just doing.
The people we call great do not lose connection with that child, yes, with that playful child, you know. And look at Jim Carrey. Now imagine if he could not be a child, you know, then we wouldn't have the wonderful films of The Mask and Liar Liar and things like that, because yes, he remained connected to that childlike play, creative being. You know, and everybody we call great, Steve Jobs, Einstein, Richard Branson, Steven Spielberg, they will all echo that same thing, that they remain connected. Madonna, you know, I heard talk about Madonna recently when we talk about adversity, you know, in the late 70s when she arrived in New York, she got robbed so many times she left her door open.
Wow.
And she went through, but it made her Woman of the Year. Yeah. Love your adversity, because there's always a hidden blessing. You know, but yeah, it is, just look at who we love, the people that we call great, and they don't understand why people like them in some cases. They're just being. And the best you can do is be the best at being you. Because no, there is no competition on this planet. You know, you're the best Sabrina there is. You know, no one can take that place. No one can be you. No one can be, I'm the best version of me that I can possibly be. No one can compete with me. I'm unique, and every single person is, and every single person has that genius. It's about connecting to that place, starting that journey of inner introspection, and really getting beneath the programming, and unlearning what we have learned. And sometimes that takes a skilled coach. I look at what I'm going through, and when I have sessions with Tony, I think, wow, how do people really cope without that kind of feedback about understanding who we are?
Yes, I agree. I couldn't imagine.
And this is why.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm so motivated by and inspired by the vision to reach the hearts and minds of 1 billion people, because I know it's going to happen, because that's what people want. And then the billion will inspire another billion, and then another billion, and before you know it, we've reached 7.6. Is that where we're up to right now? You know, I saw on Facebook where, you know, they're like the people, like the death rate and the birth rate going around.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I need to go and look at that. That must be crazy, seeing those figures go. Wow.
No, it's like the US debt going up and up and up and up and up. You know, in New York, in Times Square, you see this US debt. Like, guys, stop spending.
Wow.
But the population is growing, and you know, but the more enlightened we become, the more human potential we can explore.
Yes. Alongside
the artificial intelligence, and of course, that's one of the major topics that Tony approaches, is the rise of artificial intelligence. Is it a threat, or is it an evolutionary necessity? He's doing a TED talk on that.
I'd like to find out when that is. That's it. Excellent. So we can keep. When will that be? So we can keep a lookout for that.
I think it's August 16th. He's doing the TED talk in America, in Wilmington, and then he's in the UN on the 22nd. The UN in New York in June.
Brilliant. So
this month.
Joel, absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed listening to you and your journey. Can't wait to see this documentary. Listeners, live in your illusion. Do you care to take care to continue your illusion, or do you and desire to release yourself and set yourself free? You know, are you being your true self, or are you being something else that someone wants you to be? The question, you know, really the choice is yours. When you get a chance, go and see the documentary, purchase the documentary, download it. I'm not sure how this will work, but you know, there'll be details on the website. Joel, absolutely amazing, wonderful listening to you and conversing with you. I wish you all the success in the world. And you are going to do this. I know you and Tony, I know what you're capable of. So we're just going to assist you the best way we can, and just wish you success. And just thank you very much for being transparent, because by showing your true self, you inspire others to do the same.
And one thing I will say to people is, do connect with us on social media, to connect with Tony, because we always get back.
Yes, they do.
I don't know how Tony does it or finds the time, but that's what he said to me. I said, what, Tony, when you get like 1 million people messaging you? He's like, yes. That's what we, you know, that's what we believe in. You know,
yeah, those guys are really big hearts. So connect with both of them, Tony Salimi and Joel, and just wish you every success. Have a beautiful day today. The sunshine is glorious.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, say hi to your dad. I feel like I know him now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. He's not going to be pleased with this. I mean, it's like every interview I mention.
He must be elated. You're his son. Amazing job. You take good care of yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sabrina.
You've been listening to the Radio Works platform with your host Sabrina Ben Salmi on the Dream Big Show. Thank you to Dari Nani and Marina Nani. Have a glorious day wherever you are. Take good care of yourself. Bye.